We got gameplay update 7.27D, guys. It's been a while since we've had a patch, so we're gonna go through this really quickly and talk about what these changes mean towards your gameplay in pubs or even competitive Dota and things like that. Most of the times, changes come because of the competitive scene, and then everything starts to like trickle down from there.
If you like our content, please do like and subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to click the notification button below so you will be notified when a new video will be released.
We got item changes to start off. We got drums, all stats reduced from 6 to 4. Drums was absolutely broken. This item was like pretty much bought on every single team, at least one set, especially in China Dota. The carries bought it for the most part, so losing 2 stats, that's gonna really deter people from buying that. But if you're a utility hero, you might end up buying it anyway because that team fight aspect is so good for you, the attack speed, the movement speed bonus. So I think it'll still be bought, but it's a pretty significant nerf. I don't think carries want to buy that as much anymore. Heaven's Halberd now has a 400 gold recipe cost. A lot of people said this item probably was the most broken item and it kind of molded the meta. I think the 400 gold cost won't stop people from buying Halberd who want to buy Halberd because the active is just so good, but it's a little bit more expensive, so your timing is going to be a little bit slower. At the end of the day, I still think this item will be bought just as much. It's just going to cost you a little bit more gold to do so, and that just goes to show how good this item actually is. All the stats on it are great, and the disarm is amazing. Soul Ring recipe cost reduced from 350 to 275, so 75 less gold on Soul Ring. The problem with Soul Ring was that it didn't give HP regen anymore. They took out the 2 HP regen component and gave it the 2 armor instead, which kind of made it a worse item in the early game because you're constantly losing HP, but you're not gaining that back from the Soul Ring. So now it costs a little bit less gold. I think heroes like Crystal Maiden could use it very well. Sanking sometimes bought it. Some of these strength heroes bought it, but I still don't think it's going to be super popular of an item. But pretty good stats regardless, right? 6 strength, 2 armor. I really think someone like Crystal Maiden or other heroes who have Tranquil Boots and then they need mana also, they can buy the Soul Ring and you just combine those 2 items together so they kind of balance each other out. Helm of the Dominator, minimum health reduced from 1500 to 1000, now grants plus 4 armor to the Dominator creep. Just 500 less health, another 4 armor. It's pretty much about the same. It will nerf like Clinks a little bit in that regard. Some Clinks did like to buy the Dominator for the extra HP, eat it up. So it's a bit unfortunate that it lost that HP component, but they're just trying to like, you know, see if they can get something else going with this Dominator. Maybe they'll see more purchases of this item if it just had more armor than HP or something like that. It just hasn't been that popular ever since it got nerfed in the last patch. Hero changes, here we go. Arc Warden, Tempest Double no longer breaks smoke. Level 10 talent reduced from 350 flux cast range to 300. So the smoke break thing, it was kind of bullshit, especially in the competitive Dota, where like the illusion would just run out and like push lanes out, and then if you passed it, you just break your smoke, and now all of a sudden your big cooldown item is just gone. And it really deserved some kind of a nerf because Arc Warden has been picking up a lot of steam and has been very strong, but his fighting capabilities is still all about the same. So I don't think it's going to change the fact that people are still going to pick it. Bane, Brain Stat mana cost increased from 110, so pretty much 10 more mana at every level. It wasn't really a very popular hero in competitive Dota, but maybe in pub Dota it's been a little bit too strong or something, but 10 mana is quite insignificant, to be honest. Bloodseeker, base damage increased by 2. Blood Rage max health cost reduced, about 0.3 at the final level. Blood Rage spell amp increased. That's a lot. Like level 1, it has a 15% spell amp, which is quite a lot, and max is at 30. So pretty good overall buffs, but I don't think it's gonna make Bloodseeker amazing or anything like that. He's gonna need like another two more buffs or something like that before he's actually playable. Still one of the bottom 5 worst heroes in Dota 2 at the moment. And that's what they're doing in this patch. They're kind of like giving the bottom 5, bottom 10 heroes like a little bit more juice. So maybe that'll help them get to that middle ground. They don't want to like over buff it and put it all the way at the top. That's how balancing works. So Bristleback, base damage changed from 47 to 57 to 52 to 58. So less random on the damage, but pretty much the same of how much damage that you're actually dealing. It's just less randomness. So still quite nice. Not going to change the fact that Bristleback is not that popular right now. Brood Mother, spin web movement speed rescaled So at final level, it's down 10%. Spin Web, Scepter, movement speed rescaled as well. Final level down another 10% too. So Broodmother really popular in a high immortal bracket and competitive Dota as a last pick cheese hero, where the opponent don't really have any counters for it, and this is their attempt at like trying to make it a little bit worse with less movement speed, so you can catch it easier, right? The Broodmother. But overall, the hero will still be played as a last pick cheese. The web isn't going to change too much, but you know, again, they're just trying to bring that down a little bit. Chaos Knight base agility increased from 14 to 18. That's pretty nice. For agility, almost 1 extra armor, and also some extra attack speed. Chaos Knight really likes that stat. So I think that's pretty nice. It's going to help his laning stage quite a bit, and maybe at least be able to snowball. Again, Chaos Knight's biggest problem is probably his late game, especially when he's playing against a lot of AoE heroes. Clockwork, this hero has been so popular lately. Probably the first, like, most popular first phase position 4 hero, because the other ones like Tiny and Phoenix, but they end up being banned. Where Clockwork, he doesn't really fit that ban stage, but he's constantly being first phase picked. Movement speed reduced from 350 to 310. That really hurts Clockwork a lot because he's all about getting close to your opponent and chasing them down with the battery assault. So losing 5 movement speed there, it's going to be a big pain in the ass for him. Rocket Flare, vision duration reduced from 8 to 6. I think in the past, it used to be 10 seconds, the vision from the Rocket Flare. Now it's down to 6. Vision is a big aspect of Dota. So whenever you see your opponent and where they are and you get that lingering vision, it's so nice to be able to make plays off of it. And it's one of the reasons why Clockwork is popular and is actually strong in the mid and late game, especially for Roshan Pit. You toss a flare in there, you can see how much HP the Roshan has, you get that hook shot in, you can make some big plays. And now with 6 seconds on a 14-second cooldown, it's going to be a lot more difficult to do that. So you got to be very perfect and precise for when you want to get your vision. Talents, level 15 talent increased from +1 power cogs hit to kill to +2. So it takes 4 hits on the cogs to kill the cog, but I don't think it's gonna be something people will be buying, because at that point in the game, when he's at level 15 to get that talent, people already have 4 staffs, they have BKBs, you know, they're just normally manning up onto the Clockwork. They're not like trying to hit the cogs to get out. So I don't think this talent is significant in any way. You're just going to end up getting the +24 battery assault damage at the end of the day. Darkseer, Surge now acts like haste rather than granting a bonus speed. So you're going to get hasted. This is like the old Darkseer. That's how he used to work, instead of granting a bonus speed. Because previously, when you get the bonus speed from the Surge, it also broke the speed limit. Speed limit. So you get like all these percentage based movement speed buffs on your hero. You're going at like 600, 700 movement speed. So, and that was a big problem because Darkseer was super OP in competitive Dota, especially because you just sort of used Ion Shield and Surge on your allies and send them in. And if you guys want to learn more about Darkseer and how to play it, you can check out my YouTube video. I made a guide watching OG Seb, very strong utility supportish offlaner kind of hero who also farms a lot. Level 15 talent reduced from Ion Shell provides 400 max health to 350. Yeah, it's pretty good. Some people got it. Some people got the replica illusion damage. It really depends on the game and your opponent's carry hero. Pretty good nerf, I would say, to Darkseer without hurting his laning stage too much. Because his laning stage is actually his weakest part. So yeah, Doom, another super popular hero. This is like pretty much top board hero in Dota 2 at the moment. Scorched Earth, duration reduced from 16 to 15, so 1 less second, so that means, you know, it's got a longer downtime. Devour, HP regen reduced from 2, 6, 10, 14 to 1, 5, 9, 13. That's pretty big. I would say that previously people got level 2 Scorched Earth on level 3. Now they're going to want to get level 2 Devour 100% on level 3. Like, you're going to want to get level 2 Devour because the jump from 1 HP regen to 5 HP regen for your Devour is insane. And the bonus goes from 50 to 100. Also very big. And you can start eating the level 5 creeps already. So 100% level 3, you're going to want to get the Devour now with that change. Level 10 talent reduced from plus 13% Scorched Earth movement speed to plus 10. So 3% less. Everybody always got the Scorched Earth movement speed. No one got the Doom duration. It was really irrelevant, the level 10 one. Because your Scorched Earth is the thing that you're using all the time. Movement speed is very key to be able to get into the fight and chase heroes down that are doomed. So quite nice there. Dragon Knight base strength increased by 2. So it's pretty big. I mean, 2 damage, 40 HP. Pretty solid buff to DK. I don't think he needed it. I think this hero was still in a pretty good spot somewhere in the middle, and now he got buffed up. It's gonna be really good. I think offlane DK is pretty strong. Enchantress. Enchant max health reduced from 200, 400, 800, 1.2 to 200, 300, 400, 500. Enchant now provides +2, 4, 6, 8 armor. So the reason for this is because of Clinks. That's literally it, right? People were abusing this Enchantress Clinks combo where Enchantress takes a creep, then Clinks comes by, eats the creep, gets like a bunch of damage, and it's like a cheese combo that people can utilize. So they changed that by reducing the HP and adding armor instead to the creep. I would say that's probably the #1 reason. But right now, with that extra 500 health and 8 armor, the creep that you do take is going to be really strong. I think it's better at level 4 for the Enchantress creep itself and for Enchantress herself, right? Now that creep, you can use it to push lanes out, and it's going to be very hard for your opponent to try and kill that creep. Faceless Void. Base strength reduced from 24 to 22. Time lock damage reduced from 25, 30, 35, 40 to 20, 25, 30, 35. Big nerfs. Level 25 backtrack talent can now be disabled with break. So Faceless Void, very popular carry, super nerfed. I want to say, like losing 2 strength is big. Like 40 HP, that's huge, right? That's a lot of stats. Level 1, your laning is going to be weaker. Your time lock also doing way less damage now too. It's very, very important. The spell early game, that's pretty much all your damage output. So Faceless Void got hit with some nice or big nerf hammer here, especially during the laning stage. And laning stage is everything for heroes for the most part. So in this patch, level 25 backtrack talent, that was pretty annoying to deal with. So being able to getting that disabled with break, that's huge. I think this is the first talent that can be disabled with break, and that probably gives foresight to future talents as well that could be disabled by break, and maybe they're planning to make break into a stronger mechanic even. Leshrac, base strength increased from 18 to 20, so 2 more strength. It's weird how here it says base strength increased by 2, and here they write base strength increased from 18 to 20. Where's the consistency, Valve? What is this? It's actually like, where's the consistency, guys? I don't know. But extra 2 strength for Leshrac, that's great. Very squishy hero. Getting that extra HP early game going to be really nice. Pulse Nova radius increased from 450 to 475. Not that big of a deal. But still, you know, Leshrac, if he keeps getting buffed little by little like this, he's going to be a monster someday. So he's like 2 patches away from becoming like a tier 1 hero again. So we'll see. Luna, base armor increased by 2. That's crazy. She's so tanky now. Very, very tanky. We barely ever see Luna being picked. She's not like a hard enough carry in the current meta to be picked up. A lot of the carries right now are kind of like assassins who can just go in and burst like supports really quick. Luna doesn't really do that. Luna's more like a team-oriented hero. And in the past patches, they try to make Luna more and more team-oriented. So the previous nerfs that Luna got made her like a weaker carry. We'll see if this will do anything. I don't think it's gonna really help her out in terms of carry potential at the moment. I do think that support Luna could be a thing, possibly. Maybe even like offlane Luna or something like that. Some kind of magic build Luna could be a possibility, because base armor being increased by 2, that's going to make her way tankier in the laning stage. Alright, got a few more to go. Magnus, Empower Self-Multiply reduced from 100 to 75. That was... I couldn't believe that it was even giving him 100% to begin with. Magnus, super strong early game farmer, mid game farmer. People just played it mid lane and they just farmed ancients and triangle area non-stop and mid lane, and then with that high levels, and just pretty much out-farmed everybody in the game. So pretty big nerf here. Level 10 talent changed from plus 200 health to 0.3 second shockwave soul duration, and level 20 talent changed from plus 8 armor to 350 health. That's pretty big, because that's what allowed him to be a really strong hero in the late game with that extra armor, and the fact that he had like 3,500 HP some games as a Magnus, like going into level 20, because he had such high strength gain, and the items that he bought gave him a lot of strength as well. Pretty big nerfs actually to Magnus. I think this is gonna make him a less powerful position 2 hero, and maybe people will push him towards the position 3 role instead, or maybe even support Magnus. But if that's the case, I don't think Magnus is gonna be that popular, or it shouldn't be at least. It's too easily punishable. Mars, intelligence from 20 plus 1.4 to 21 plus 1.6. Base mana region increased from 0.05. This is amazing buff to Mars. This hero's mana pool has always been his problem. His spells cost a lot. He had no mana regen, and this one int increase and the every level up he gets a little bit more int is going to be so nice. The base mana regen is going to be so nice. He's going to be able to cast more spells. I think Mars players all around the world are going to rejoice over this, because this is the kind of buffs that they really wanted, because other than that, the hero is great. Medusa, base damage increased by 2. Stone Gaze mana cost reduced from 200 to 100. So that's pretty big. That's going to give her 100 more mana to be able to use on her mana shield instead. So it's pretty much like an HP buff, honestly. This Stone Gaze mana cost reduction. It's quite nice. Base damage increased by 2. Very nice for the laning, especially. Be able to get those last hits. So just good enough. But as of right now, I don't see Medusa, especially in competitive Dota, being picked without Vengeful Spirit. Vengeful Spirit Medusa is the combo that everybody has been playing with if they ever do decide to go for Medusa. Other than that, it's just a mediocre carry at the moment. So maybe in the next patch, if some other game aspects change, Medusa will be more popular. Monkey King, Boundless Strike, stun duration increased from 0.4 to 0.7, level 1. That's really huge. So a little bit more stun duration on the earlier levels, but the last level it's all the same. Quite nice buff for Monkey King. He fell out of favor recently, but I think he's like one buff away from being, again, a really strong hero. The reason why he fell out is because as a carry he doesn't provide much, and he's pretty much just a position 2 hero at the moment. You don't play as a support either, so if Monkey King cannot go between roles, then he's just not that strong of a pick. It doesn't provide a whole lot in drafts. Omni Knight, base movement speed increased from 305 to 310. 5 more movement speed for Omni Knight. Yay! I mean, it's still good. Like, you know how I see Omni Knight is like, they're just giving him some crumbs, right? They're just gonna keep giving him some crumbs. Eventually, he's gonna have like an entire loaf of bread, and that's what we're waiting for, right? Like, this hero, it's either like super OP broken, people pick it, or it's just absolute trash. And for many years, the developers have always been so scared of buffing Omni Knight because they don't want to make him like the super OP guy, right? His toolkit is just so annoying. He's one of the most annoying heroes in Dota 2, so 5 movement speed, that's all he gets. OD, Arcane Orb damage increased from 6 level 1 to 7.5, and a little bit more on every other level. It's okay, earlier levels, it's gonna be a little bit stronger. Not really a huge buff or anything like that, I want to say. Normally you're not really using your Arcane Orb like that much early on because it costs a lot of mana. Again, if you do end up using it, you're gonna get that little bit of extra damage. It's not gonna be a big change. It's not gonna make OD like playable or anything like that. He's just fine. He's just like a bottom 10-20 hero, I want to say right now in Dota 2. Phoenix, probably the most OP position 4, 3, 5. He can play in all 3 roles, so good. So I'm expecting big nerfs here. Base damage reduced by 2, big nerf. Laning stage. Strength gain reduced from 3.7 to 3.5. Dude, Phoenix has insane strength gain. That's a lot. Like, that's actually a lot. So that's a very small nerf there, at least. Sunray cooldown increased from 26 to 30. That's pretty big. 4 seconds. I don't think any of this is gonna make Phoenix fall out of favor. Like, I still think Phoenix is gonna be the most strongest position, like 3, 4, 5. Like, it can alternate between all those roles, and I think it's still gonna be very strong position 4 and 5 hero, especially in competitive Dota. Because the thing that makes this hero so good is the fire spirits. At level 3, you got that level 2 fire spirits, and those things just win you lanes like so hard. And then late game, you know, you keep on scaling with your egg. It's harder and harder for your opponent to kill it. They have to think about it. You're still doing percentage based damage like Sunray. Okay, sure, 4-second cooldown, big deal, right? Like, it's still very OP hero. I don't think this is gonna change anything with the hero, but still, nerf is a nerf, right? Rubik, base attack speed reduced from 110 to 100. Wow, that's pretty sad. Just lost 10 attack speed just like that. Silencer, last word damage increased from 80 to 120. 160 to 200, so every level 40 more damage. This is amazing. Like, I love playing Silencer, and this buff is going to be really good. So previously, this is how much last word used to do, I want to say, like a couple years ago, and then they nerfed him really hard, and they brought him down to like 80 damage, and now last word doing 120 damage on level 1 is going to be quite good. Like, you can actually scale this up and not feel bad that it doesn't do any damage. I like it. I really do like it. And it also does extra damage based on the intelligence between Silencer and the target. So it's actually really good at this point. Like, especially in the early game, you can actually scale this up early game as a support and not be sad that you're spending 115 mana to normally do like 80 damage. Spectral Dagger. I mean, this Spectre hero, like this hero is probably the most popular carry, I want to say, especially in pub games, matchmaking games, and this is gonna get hit hard with the nerfs here. Spectral Dagger damage reduced from 90, 140, 190, 240 to 75. Oh god. Can't even last hit creeps easily with that anymore on the early level 1. 130, 185, and the same at the last level. Desolate damage reduced from 24 to 15. Oh goodness, this is gonna hurt a lot. Haunt cooldown increase 180 to 180, 160, 140. So max level 20 extra seconds, level 2 10 extra seconds. This is gonna hurt Spectre's early game so much. The dagger is, I mean, her laning was great, so this is gonna weaken that. And the desolate, normally you skill up desolate on like level 8, I want to say, because you're getting level 2 dispersion first anyway. It's just a little nerfs. I wouldn't say these are like super big nerfs. I think the 75 damage on the level 1 dagger, that's pretty much the biggest nerf here. The haunt, that's a pretty big nerf. 20 extra seconds late game, like you have to make your late game haunts count badly. So pretty big, I want to say, nerfs to Spectre, but I still think people are gonna pick it regardless. It's just too simple of a hero to play. Tiny movement speed reduced from 310 to 300, so another hero that's been super popular as a position 4 and 2. 10 movement speed nerf, so big on heroes like this who care so much about mobility. Underlord Firestorm cast range reduced. Okay, so they made it scale from 600 to 675. Pit of Malice cooldown increased. So level 1 starts at 21 and then goes back down to 15. Pit of Malice disabled duration increased. So wow, okay, so they actually buffed the pit on level 1, how long it's stunning people for. That's pretty good. It's like the previous level 2 pit is now the level 1 pit. So it's quite nice. Atrophy Aura crit bonus changed from 4, 5, 6, 7 to 2, 4, 6, 8. Ouch. That's gonna hurt his laning quite a bit because you just got cut in half the damage that you'll get from the aura. Level 15 talents increase from -3 seconds Firestorm cooldown to -4. Didn't they just do that? Didn't they make it from like 4 to 3 and now did they put it back from 3 to 4? I feel like they did that recently. Anyway, I want to say none of this is like really a nerf apart from the aura. Like the aura thing is probably the biggest nerf here because his laning is going to be a little bit weaker, especially since you're not going to get so much damage. But apart from that, everything else just looks about the same to me. Ursa, overpowered, mana cost reduced. So it costs 40 mana level 1 now instead of 55. And a little bit less on the other levels. Level 10 talent changed. Now he's got the mana regen talent on level 10, and level 15 his mana regen talent is gone and he gets 300 health instead. That's pretty good actually. Ursa, he really fell off because of his recent nerfs, but with this he'll be a little bit stronger in the earlier games. They'll help him out. The mana regen level 10 talent especially, I think it's quite nice, but I still think he's gonna get kited like crazy. Battlemaster, freaking annoying POS hero, probably had the highest win rate of any other hero in competitive Dota and matchmaking. So Battlemaster, Plague Ward, mana cost increased from 20, it scales up to 26. Plague Ward gold bounty increased from 14 to 17 to 15, 17, 19, 21. Still a lot of gold. Poison Sting damage reduced from 8, 16, 24, 32 to 6, 14, 20, 30. Oh man, that's huge nerfs. That's a lot. That's huge damage loss for Battlemaster, especially in the early laning stage. Poison Sting slow reduced from 11, 13, 15, 17 to 9, 11, 13, 15. Also the Poison Sting slow reduced. So I think this hero is going to fall off quite a lot because his laning was very important and what made him really strong. So those nerfs on the early levels is going to make him much weaker. Zeus, base strength reduced from 21 to 19. Base mana regen reduced from 0.25 to 0. Yikes. So he's a bit squishier now, losing 2 strength. And level 10 talent reduced from plus 1.75 mana regen to 1.5. So he lost like 0.5 mana regen essentially. This hero has been picking up a lot of steam lately because everyone's going this arc lightning build, max arc lightning, and just farming with it and scaling into the mid game, and just so annoying when you do a build like that. So just some small nerfs. So overall, this patch, I want to say the carries got nerfed quite a lot here. Some of the really weak heroes became still weak, and the item changes, drums and halberd, that's pretty big. But I want to say halberd is still going to be bought. Drums, I think, will be bought less by carries and more by utility heroes. instead, because you're still gonna want a drums on your team, especially to fight in the early game. And Faces Void and Spectre, there's some tampering going on here about the Arcana votes. So Witch Doctor and Sniper, some devs are big Witch Doctor or Sniper fans. They're tampering with Faces Void and Spectre with these nerfs right before the Arcana vote.